Why are ear hats like a nightmare when you have a fringe? Like, they just don't work, do they? Hello and welcome to another Disney video with me. I hope you are well. I've actually had quite a few questions lately all about Disney's cultural exchange program, which you may or may not know I did way back in 2014, which feels like a long time ago and kind of is a long time ago now. I worked in Disney World in Orlando for a whole summer. I was in quick service food and beverage at Restaurantosaurus in Animal Kingdom, which is the best quick service, just saying. I was doing all sorts of roles there. It was really fast paced, really fun, had the best time ever. I lived in my favourite place in the world. I mean, it doesn't really get better than that. But one thing I did think about is the fact that they don't really give you that much solid detail of the real things that you want to know before you go. I mean, you get all the stuff to do your visas and all that sort of technical boring stuff, but you don't really know what to expect. So I thought I would do some Q&As to help you know what you're going to be up against and get an actual real view of what it's going to be like, because it is not all sunshine and roses and magical memories. It is hard as well, and you're working for it's a job, and a job for the most, well, not demanding company, the company with the highest standards in potentially the whole world. So you've got to be good. Here are my tips. Thank you to my friend Sabrina, who is doing the cultural exchange this summer, for giving me some of her burning questions and constantly asking me things on group chat. I love it, don't I? I could talk about Disney all day, so it's all good, it's all good. I'm gonna take this hat off now before I get like the worst hat hair ever. But I just put this on because this is actually the only DCP like memorabilia I have in my current flat, because all the other stuff is like back home with my parents, because I did the program while I was at uni. But this is the actual hat that I got given on Traditions. Yay! Isn't it a cute one? It's a special one. And then you also get a graduation hat which has a graduation tassel, and I got my name written on the back of this one, but this one's just my standard one. But it was free stuff! Which is really the burning thing: how much money are you going to need? Because you're obviously trying to save up before you go, but you don't really know how much you need, especially if you want to do travelling afterwards. It's quite hard to tell. So this worked for me. Obviously everyone has sort of different spending preferences and things, but I saved up about £1,000 before I went. But that was mostly for travelling money and the first few weeks. So how it works is you get there and then you don't get your first proper paycheck until you're about 2 weeks in. So you need that money to cover you there. But once you've hit that sort of 2-week mark, then you're fine. If you want to like put a number on it, the amount of hours that you really need to work minimum to like live is sort of 30 hours a week, which is like really actually not that much when that's your full-time job. I mostly had 6-hour shifts and I would do 5 of them per week if it was a good week. So that is 30 hours. But other times you'd have to do like 7.5-hour shifts, 8-hour shifts, which bumps you up a bit. So I guess on a very like average week it was like 35 hours a week that I was doing, and that's plenty of money to pay for your rent and your food and then all the merch that you're gonna get, because you're gonna get a lot. So with the, I would say roughly I was working 2 days a week just to pay for rent, but then everything after that was for me. But the other thing to bear in mind is that they will take the tax off you and you're not going to get that tax back until you get home. So that is a real pain, because while the tax is like a bonus when you get home, you really want the money while you're in Disney so you can spend it on the Disney merch. You're not really that bothered about getting 100, 200, 300 pounds back like next April. You want it now. So that is worth bearing in mind. What is the accommodation like, really? And I felt like I was not disappointed, but I wasn't amazed by the accommodation, because I watched so many like tours and things for all the accommodation, and I lived in Chatham Square and I read that that was one of the best ones, or one of the better ones, in terms of like transport links and social sort of thing as well. But it was really tired. Like, our sink didn't work. There was a drip outside my window that drives me crazy. Like, it was all, everything worked apart from the sink. But that was about it. You don't expect to be amazed. That would be the only thing I would say. I was expecting to walk in and be like, oh my God, but it was more like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, this'll do. What you really want to ask at the interview, but you know you can't, the discounts. That was like the best thing. And all the stuff you can buy, all the cast member exclusives and things. That is really cool. So you get 20% off all Disney merch, but when they add on the tax after, and then you get your discount off, you end up paying only a bit less than the sale price, as in the price on the ticket. So that's good. At least you don't have to pay the tax, sort of. Well, it feels like you're not paying the tax, which is really handy, and it does encourage you to buy a lot of stuff. You also get 20% off nearly all of the restaurants, that is quick service dining and table service dining. Also, while I was there, they had, I think it was probably maybe like a list of 6 to 10 restaurants where you got 40% off. So obviously that really does make it a lot more affordable. But mostly they were like the less popular ones, because obviously if they're going to have empty tables, they'd love to have cast members coming and filling them up. So also discount wise, you can get money off the hotels as well. I believe that is 40% if you are staying in the hotel, and if you have friends or family coming over to visit, they can get 20% off, something like that. Basically, if you're staying in the room, you get a bigger discount, which seems fair enough. There's Cast Connections, which is backstage near Magic Kingdom, which is where you can get the real bargains. I got, well, it was this phone case actually, but it was for an iPhone 4. I got that for 70% off for no reason at all. Like, normally it's like if the package is damaging, the packaging is damaged, then they put it in there. But there was like nothing even wrong with that. I got like Christmas decorations that said 2014 on because the light didn't work. It was meant to light up, but you wouldn't even know that it was meant to light up. There's like so many cool things there. So there's like the main discount store, and then next to it is like another sort of discount store, but they also have like props and stuff for sale, which obviously if you're doing the international exchange program, you're not going to be able to take them home. But it's quite cool to look at. Just don't get too carried away in there because it is very tempting. Yeah, the other cool place to buy things is going to be, what is it called? Oh my god, I've forgotten what it's called. In most of the theme parks, they have like a cast store with cast exclusives in. That's where whenever you see like a cast exclusive pin, they have bought it backstage at these little stores. Annoyingly, Animal Kingdom did not have one, or if they did, it was like miles and miles from where I worked, so I never really got to go there. But I did go to the Epcot one, and I picked up like a pin and like maybe 1 or 2 other bits, but oh, I wish I had bought more. Like seriously, if you're in doubt, buy more. When are you ever gonna have the chance to buy cast exclusive stuff again? Because American visas are getting even harder to get now, so like make the most of it. But you will actually end up with quite a bit of free merch anyway, and they give you free luggage tags. You can win more stuff by answering questions right. You get like a memory box when you complete the program. You get certificates. I kept all the sort of marketing materials because I love that sort of stuff. Another thing is, what do you do if you want to go to Universal? Well, basically get an annual pass. Even if you're probably only going to go a handful of times, so maybe 4 or 5 days, it's probably worth it, because if you get one of the regular passes, you have to use it within 14 consecutive days. So that would mean all your free days off work, you'd have to go, and maybe, you know, your friends aren't wanting to do that either. So it's much better to get an annual pass. If you get a letter from the housing that confirms that you currently live in Florida, you can get a discount off it as well, which makes it a lot more affordable. And then when I got home, it just sort of sat on my counter and like was like, oh look, if you were in Florida today, you could go to Universal for free. But you're not. But I don't know, that kind of made me happy. I don't know, maybe I'm weird. So as you have probably been told, there are lots of welcome events and other events and pool parties that Disney will put on for you at the housing. These are, I mean, you'll probably get to go to maybe 2 while you're there, since it's only 2.5 months. Obviously if you're doing a year program, you'll have an abundance. 2 most important ones. The first welcome one, which is where it will normally be themed. I think ours was like Dumbo themed. So they have really cute photo ops. So at the welcome event, you will have different characters you can meet. Most importantly, you get a full free meal, and it is pretty good food as well. And then there's sort of like a party type thing, and like some people get really into it. It's like, it's kind of like a club in the middle of the like grassy area of housing. I don't know, but at one stage I went like up on one of the stairwells to like look down, because I was like, this is crazy. And it was just, it was a bit mad really. I don't know if they're all like that, but yeah, it's an experience. No, it's really good fun. And then they have like games to see, you have to like bring like a passport, or you know, when they like say random items that you have to bring to the stage and then you get something free. So that's another way to get free cast member themed stuff, which is quite cool. And then the best one really is the graduation ceremony. So they have one of these every month or 2, and you'll be told which one is yours. It'll normally be, well, mine was like a week before the end of the program, which was sort of like perfect timing because it was like the beginning of the end. So you get your hat with your tassel on, like I showed you before, and you get your graduation certificate. And obviously the big picture that everyone wants to get is with Minnie and Mickey in their graduation robes with you and your hat. So it's a big deal. I stood in line for an hour and a half, I think, to get this picture, but it kind of had to be done. There wasn't really any option. So you do that. Again, there's free food and more characters to meet, all in their graduation robes. And you can also go and find your country's flag and wave that about, which is quite a cool picture too. So it is mostly for the pictures, yeah. They also have pool parties, which I have to say I didn't go to, I don't think. So you'll probably won't be able to go to all of them because of work. They have them at different times of day because people are likely to work different shifts, but they're mostly sort of early to late evening. So that is those. Also, side note, after your graduation, if you go and wander around in your graduation hat, you will get compliments and congratulations from every cast member, and like they'll just give you, you know, free stuff, fast passes. Like everyone wants to congratulate you, and it's the most magical thing ever. So I 100% recommend going to the parks after your graduation. That is very cool. We were the first sort of intake that used a system called dorms, and I don't know if they're still using it. I assume so because it worked really well for us. And on there you could say how many people you wanted to live with. You will be put with other people of your gender automatically. They don't do mixed sex housing. This is Disney after all, you know, can't have that. If you are under 21, you'll be put with other under 21s. If you are over 21, you will most likely be put with all over 21s as well, just because of drinking and non-drinking. That is very, 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 very strict, and I was too terrified to test out how strict it was. I did definitely hear about people being sent home for alcohol, so they stand by their word, like you can guarantee that. But anyway, side note, if you are over 21, lots of people do go out drinking both at Disney Springs and into Orlando. It does sound really fun, but I was 20 at the time, so I just missed out. Sad times. But anyway, where was I? So you can select how many people you want to live with. The more people in your apartment, the cheaper the rent is. So I went for a 6-person apartment. I got given an 8-person apartment. It really didn't make that much difference. You can also, when I did it, you could put down one other person that you wanted to live with. But we then found an email for the dorms housing people, and we said, oh, we really want to live all together. There was like a group of 6 of us who had met through like Facebook chat and stuff, and they put us all together. So it is worth sending an email to dorms if you have found a group of people that you are really attached to. If not, I would honestly like go for random, you know, be brave, go for random, because look, well, it was great that we all lived together, we all got on really well. But the thing was, we were all British girls who were pretty much all age 20. You know, there wasn't much cultural variation, which is what all the program is really about. But if you go for random, you'll be put with Americans, Canadians, people from all over the world. So you can really sort of do the culture exchange thing that you're there to do, which would have been really cool, and get to see a bit more of them. The only issue is that they probably won't have the same dates exactly as you do, so they might be there shorter or longer time. But I think it's more adventurous and kind of like more in the spirit of what it's all about, so give it a go, why not? One thing that I was quite concerned about was, where am I going to get my groceries? Very close to Chatham and Patterson there is a Publix, there is also a McDonald's, and there is also, right opposite the Commons, there is the Premium Outlets, which you might know if you have been to Orlando before, when they have a really good food court in there, very tasty. But Publix is probably a 10-minute walk away. As you know, no one in America really walks, so you will probably be the only person on the path going there. And you'll be like scattering lizards away and things like that, walking along the freeway, and everyone will be like, what the hell is that crazy girl doing? But it's all good, you will get your groceries. Publix is one of the better supermarkets to go to as well. You can get a bus to Walmart, which we did on the first night, and it was hell. Like, it was awful. It was after you've done all that traveling and then you go to Walmart, it was ugh. And also, Walmart do not sell many healthy things. I'm not even like a health food person, but I at least want chicken breast nuggets and not chicken rib nuggets. They didn't do any good cuts of meat or anything at Walmart, but at Publix they had a bit like a higher end, high quality produce, I guess. So it was much nicer to shop there. They do also have a very small section of international food, so you can still get like Cadbury's and things like that. So it's kind of a tradition on the first night to go to Walmart, because you probably don't have a duvet or a quilt or covers or pillows or anything like that. So everyone sort of goes off there and gets all their stuff. The issue is that by the time you get there, 100 other people have probably gone down the pillow quilt aisle and they have taken all the good stuff, okay? It's gonna happen. I ended up with a pretty rubbish, like grey and black quilt. Oh no, it wasn't, it was, what do Americans call it? A comforter. So it's just like a quilt, but with the pattern on it. So you don't put a cover on it, you can put the whole thing in the wash, which is a bit foreign to us. I had one of them. Some of the other girls preferred to just have sheets because it's hot in Florida, but the rooms were air conditioned and I preferred a duvet because that's what I have at home. You can also get pillows there and things like that, but honestly, like, if you can at all, bring your stuff with you, especially the pillows. If you can like squeeze them up into Ziploc bags or anything like that, I would 100% do it, because I honestly, that first night was like the worst one on my whole program. It was so rubbish. And then onto the sort of training that you're gonna get, which I was really, really excited about. As you may know, if you try to find out what is in traditions, you will probably not be very successful. And I was like looking around the internet like, what the hell happens in traditions? Like, I want to know, sounds so exciting, but everyone's like, oh, you'll find out when you get there. And trust me, wait until you get there, because it is amazing. At one point I just cried. See, like, look how happy I am just thinking about it. It's one of the best things ever, if not like one of the highlights of my life, which is just ridiculous. But it does start off with a lot of classroom work, so the whole thing is not amazing, but there are definitely amazing parts. You will also get comprehensive on-the-job training. This includes a full tour of the theme park or resort that you are working in. In my case, it was Animal Kingdom, so we got to go on the safari and have like a private tour around the park, pointing out all the sort of secret and interesting things that you could then tell to guests. So that was really, really cool, and it has literally made Animal Kingdom my favourite park pretty much from that point onwards. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. And then you'll get pretty much a full week of training at your work location, so you'll learn what each position means, you will learn all the sort of important stuff. You'll have like computer-based training, but mostly you're sort of on the job training, and you'll be supervised like for the whole of that. For me, I was training with another girl called Carolyn, and we did all our training together, so it was like one supervisor for two of us. But then that was really good because it did mean that our test was for the two of us as well, and she was really good at remembering the numbers, so that was very handy. And then once you pass your test, you can take off your Earning Your Ears tab, and boom, you are a cast member. Just like that. So don't be worried about any of the training. It will be a lot of early days, but you will get everything written out for you very clearly on all the pieces of paper that they give you. Oh, that reminds me of something really important. When do you find out where you're going to be working? Oh, that was like, I mean, you might know what role you're gonna have, but where you're working is so important. So we find this out on, I think it's day 2. So it'll be the day, you'll have one day of like general training, and then this is where you have to go, and it's like a form filling in session, and you fill out all these forms and you go round the thing, and they eventually give you a piece of paper and it says where you're working and your location. So once you have that, that's your full timetable and you are good to go. It's a really, really special moment, and oh, it's really exciting. But yeah, I think that is everything you need to know. If you have any other questions, like leave them in the comments. I'll be really happy to answer them for you. I hope if you have got a place already, have the best time ever. If you're still applying, like, good luck. I think I'm gonna make a interview tips video as well. So subscribe to my channel and you'll find it. Yeah, that's little plug there. But yeah, I hope this was really useful. Covers all the basics, I think. And yeah, time to get excited. Have a good one. Thanks for watching. Bye.